The AFE Silver Bullet throttle body spacer should appeal to the 2009 and newer 5.7 Ram owners out there who might be looking for a super affordable and easy to install modification that will help you maximize performance in your Hemi. Now, this no tune required modification is going to run you right around $170 and will get backed by AFE's 2-year limited warranty. But let's just address the elephant in the room first and foremost here, guys, and that will be the fact that, listen, there will no doubt be owners and enthusiasts out there who already have their minds made up on a product like this, and at the end of the day, that's perfectly fine. It's your money, spend it how you like. However, there will also be a number of overwhelming positive reviews here on the site from Ram owners who have actually pulled the trigger and installed this product on their truck at home and have a very positive story to tell. Here's the deal, are you gonna pick up 20 wheel horsepower by installing something like this? Absolutely not, but smaller gains have been reported. In fact, AFE claims 12 horsepower, 14 pound-feet of torque right on the box, along with a nice little increase in throttle response. So as always, guys, I'm just going to encourage you to read up on the customer reviews, hear from actual Ram owners who have installed this product before ultimately making your own decision. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into the AFE Silver Bullet spacer here. And honestly, the act of adding a spacer is really nothing new in the world of hot rodding. In fact, guys have been adding plenum spacers to carbureted setups for decades in an attempt to increase plenum velocity and ultimately your volume and increase power. And while the modern fuel-injected Hemi power plant is a little bit different from a high ram with a 4-barrel, the general idea kind of remains the same. Increase that plenum volume by installing the spacer between the throttle body and the intake manifold, and ultimately squeeze a little bit more power out of your setup. Now, the spacer that we're talking about in this case is from a company called AFE, or Advanced Flow Engineering, and if you didn't know, produce a number of high-quality induction and exhaust components for a wide variety of platforms, all made right here in the USA. So construction-wise, really basic stuff, guys. As you can see, it's just basically a block of billet aluminum that has been CNC machined into this specific shape and given what they call a unique serrated design at the opening here. Now, the spacer itself is CARB certified. It does come with the necessary hardware to get everything in place, as you will need longer bolts now to run through the throttle body, through the spacer itself, and into that intake manifold. And don't worry, they're in the box. They got you covered, along with a brand new gasket. Last but not least, you do get a 2-year warranty from AFE in case you should run into any issues. But again, with the simplicity of the design, the stoutness of the build, I can't imagine that's going to be necessary. But now we want to shift gears and talk a little bit more about the installation. Again, straightforward bolt-on job using that new hardware. Site is going to call this a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and about an hour or so to complete from start to finish. But give you guys a better idea of just how things will go down, here's a detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown now.
For this installation, you will need an 8mm socket, a ratchet, a shortest extension, and a flathead screwdriver. I will be using an impact cordless wrench with an 8mm socket to make this installation go smoother for me. You do not need to use an impact for this installation. With your flathead screwdriver, what you want to do is remove your intake tube. Now, keep in mind that I have an aftermarket S&B air filter, but it's the same concept on your vehicle. You would have to loosen up the hose clamps located on the front at the throttle body and on the back on the intake in order to remove the tube from the throttle body. Once you loosen up the hose clamps, make sure you disconnect the air intake temperature sensor located on the back side. Here's a closer look at the air temperature sensor that I'm talking about and that hose that you have to remove from your intake tube. Just press the connector, unplug it, push it to a side. On that hose, there's a tab on the bottom part of the hose. Make sure you push down and pull out. Once you have everything disconnected, it is safe to go ahead and just push or pull on your intake tube. On mine, I'm gonna just turn it, right? But on yours, you can take it completely off once you remove both clamps, the one here and the one over here. Once you have removed your intake tube from here, from the throttle body, what you wanna do is you can go ahead and disconnect your throttle body by pulling on this red tab, pushing it out. You can use your flathead screwdriver for that, slightly push it out, push on the connector and pull it out, right? It does have a secure zip tie here, so you can just either pull that out, right, like so. Once you've done that, go ahead and take off the 4 bolts located here, 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 and here. Make sure to be very cautious when messing with the throttle body. You do not want to touch the throttle body plate in any way, shape, or form, so you won't damage the throttle body while installing this throttle body spacer. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these bolts. Once you've done taking off all the bolts, these bolts will no longer be used, as the throttle body spacer comes with new longer bolts. I'll show you here in a second what I'm talking about, because as you can see, it's flush here right now. So when you add that throttle body spacer, it will bring it up about ½ inch right there, and the screws that you took off are no longer gonna be able to be used. Set the throttle body on the side, nice and slow, keep it there. Be very, very safe. Make sure you do not drop anything into your intake. So we're gonna grab our throttle body spacer. There's a hole here and here where it guides you to tabs here and here where you can secure this throttle body. So there's no way you can put this thing wrong, right? So what you wanna do, you're gonna wanna put it like so, right? It says air in. So once you have it there, you're gonna go ahead and set the throttle body on top. Once you have done that, you're gonna get the 4 bolts that came with your throttle body spacer. And what you wanna do is start them off with your hand. Don't tighten them up, just put them snug where they're with your hand, so you can start them all. Because if you tighten them all up, it might not align, and then you're gonna have to take it off and put it back on. So once they're secured on there like so, go ahead and tighten them down. Once you have your throttle body secure, go ahead and bring your connector back on around. Put it back on the hole, plug it in, and make sure you push the red tab in. Once you have that done, you're gonna bring your intake tube. Put it down again. Tighten your hose clamps. Put your connector back on, your temperature sensor. Make sure you hook up your hose back up, and you're all set.
So wrapping things up here, guys, if you are looking for an affordable and easy way to help squeeze every last ounce of power out of your 5.7 Hemi, then be sure to check out the AFE Silver Bullet Spacer right here at AmericanTrucks.com.